Okay,
perfect. We can start then. And
Well,
Rinpoche,
it's not quite 8:30.
it's not quite 8:30? Well, 1 minute.
Yeah, let's wait 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Our topic is the importance of Ngondro.
Huh?
Importance and benefits of Ngondro.
Okay. Importance, benefit of Ngondro.
Oh, shit, I didn't supposed to tell people we were live in a minute.
yes. Oh, yeah.
Everybody to the upside down. That's a little shape. Wow, almost like a star. Gyal.
Yeah. Start this up.
First of all, I want to say hello, welcome, and tashi dele to everyone now that we're approaching the new year.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's and happy holidays. So, since we're probably new practitioners, it's very important for us to cultivate a positive motivation first. So whatever we're doing, whether it's Dharma or worldly activities, it's very important that we first change our motivation and set a positive motivation. But if old practitioners will know to cultivate supreme bodhicitta. So whatever work or activities we're doing, or whether we're doing Dharma practice or receiving Dharma teachings, it's very important to have a positive state of mind, a positive motivation, wanting to benefit all sentient beings as infinite as space, and thinking that whatever we're doing, it's not just for our own benefit, or it's not just for the benefit of our boss at our workplace, but whatever we're doing, we're doing it for the benefit of all motherly sentient beings as infinite as space. And so once we enter into the Dharma, whatever we do, whatever study and reflection on the Dharma we do, we should think that it's not just to free ourselves from suffering, but it's to free all motherly sentient beings as infinite as space from this ocean of samsara. And we should have that kind of motivation. So when we're studying, when we're listening to Dharma teachings, then we have to have this kind of, cultivate this kind of motivation, this kind of altruistic, positive, pure-hearted state of mind. And we have to listen to the Dharma teachings with that kind of motivation. And our ability to be able to help other sentient beings depends upon compassion. So it's very important for us to cultivate compassion. And we also have to believe in liberation, believe that there is that we can accomplish the state of Buddhahood. And we also have to understand that all of samsara is an ocean of suffering, that all of the billion-fold universe of this world, all of the 6 realms of existence, it's all nothing but suffering. And so there's no happiness to be found here. And so we have to, ultimately there's no happiness to be found here whatsoever. And so we have to understand like that we have to understand this situation clearly. And so we have to believe that we can accomplish liberation. We have to believe that there is something we can accomplish through Dharma practice. It's not just a story, it's something that's happened many times in the past and something that still happens now. There's many beings that we can see with our own eyes. We can meet for ourselves these beings, these practitioners who practice on the path and accomplish the result. So that's just some general points, but whatever Dharma we practice, there's different details and different particular practices according to different individual lineages.
Dudjom Tersar
In the Dharma in general, in the Nyingma and Kagyu schools, and especially in our Dudjom Tersar tradition, when we enter into Dharma practice, we have to enter into it, we have to engage with it by means of the four thoughts that turn the mind to the Dharma. And with the Ngondro preliminary practices, starting off with the four thoughts that turn the mind to the Dharma. And the Ngondro preliminary practices are very important. All the great masters of the past talk about this again and again, how important Ngondro is. And especially for people who want to practice the path of the yogas of the two stages of creation and completion stage meditation, and those who want to, or those who practice the great perfection, Ngondro is really precious for these people. Whether we make progress on the path and whether we accomplish the results of our practice or not depends upon how well we do Ngondro practice. And the Ngondro preliminary practices are really important, and actually the truth is that all of the teachings of the Buddha, all of the 84,000 teachings, all of the 160,000 tantras are condensed down into this one essence and presented as pith instructions on how we can practice all of these teachings of the Buddha in one lifetime. And so the Ngondro is the condensation, the synthesis of all of these teachings of the Buddha. And the Ngondro preliminary practices are pith instructions for how one person can accomplish the state of Buddhahood in one lifetime. And there's two main like categories or sections to the Ngondro practice. So first is the common practices, the four thoughts that turn the mind to the Dharma. These are the four thoughts that turn our minds away from samsara and like direct our minds toward the Dharma, direct our minds toward accomplishing the state of liberation and total omniscience of perfect Buddhahood. And so these are the four thoughts that turn the mind to the Dharma, the common outer preliminary practices. And then there's the 5 uncommon practices of the path. To use the example of a farm field, the 4 thoughts that turn the mind to the Dharma, or contemplating the 4 thoughts that turn the mind to the Dharma, is like a farmer preparing the field and making the earth ready for planting seeds. And then the 5 uncommon preliminary practices are like doing these practices is like planting the seeds in the field, planting the seeds that will grow into plants. The reason that the 4 thoughts that turn the mind are called the